gentleman from Dearborn, Michigan is outraged over a 911 call. He wants to know why no charges have been filed against a police officer who admits to confiscating marijuana from suspects and then baking it in brownies. And once he and his wife were full and high, they thought they'd overdosed and called 911.
I think I'm having an overdose, and so is my wife.
Overdose of what?
Marijuana. I don't know if it had something in it. Can you please send rescue?
Did you guys have fever or anything?
No, I think we're dying.
Okay, how much did you guys have?
I don't know. We made brownies, and I think we're dead. Time is going by really slow.
Well, instead of being charged, Instead of being charged, the police department let the officer resign. His wife was not charged either. So far, police officials have not commented on the case.
Now, how do you follow a story like that?
It's the Airey Bros podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. Episode number 28. When 420 goes wrong. Stick around, stay tuned.
Yeah, boy! I know you're gonna dig this.
Pump up the volume, 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 pump up the volume.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. This is a little impromptu podcast. We're calling it When 420 Goes Wrong. We had an interesting turn of events over the weekend, and although we were unable to capture this in real time, we tried to get back to you as soon as possible so we could share with you everything that occurred in these events. As always, I'm with my dance partner, Prince James of 1512. Jimmy, how are you feeling today, brother?
A little slow, a little foggy. Just getting all my facilities back. Still firing a little slow. Stumbling on some words here and there. Yesterday was a rough day. We're gonna go into it. I almost died this weekend. I felt like I was gonna die. I took a dab from hell.
For the record, no one has ever died. Not one person. More people have already died in 2017 taking selfies than have ever died in the history of marijuana. So, nothing to worry about there, my friend. It happens to the best of us. We all have these 911 overdose call emergencies. Sometimes, some people, some places, we can handle our own shit and get through these emergency events. Sometimes, as in the case with the officer in Michigan, and in the case of the Prince over the weekend.
I didn't call 911 though. I called my real 911. I called my big brother.
Yep. He dosed himself, ladies and gentlemen. He dosed himself good. I literally just walked in the door from work and was putting the leashes on the dog to take them for their evening walk. And just as I was about to open the door to head out, I was told that my phone was ringing and that it was my brother. So I always make sure I pick up on it when I can, when he calls. And I immediately knew something was not right in this situation. I could tell in the tone in his voice that there was something definitely not right. But my first thought was that it was just, a fucking star of death or something that you ate. But apparently that wasn't the case.
No, it was the dab of death, dude. I knew it was going to be a problem when I finally got in my car and I was sweating like I had a fever. And I was like, this is going to be a rough night. And as I started driving farther down the road, closer to my house, I just couldn't handle it, dude. I was was having some deep visions, almost feeling like I was back in the jungle, where I was just had this realization that I've been living like a zombie, and this is real life, and I can't shut this off, and this isn't a dream, and I fucked up, and I just had this like paranoia that I was in like that the bad guys were coming to get me or some shit, and I had to leave my car behind and get home as fast as possible on foot. So as I pulled into the parking lot, and now that I realize I walked like a good deal before I called you, like across the parking lot, whereas I thought I had just got out of the car and started calling you. Like I made it pretty far across, like all the way across the parking lot by a light till I got you on the phone when I went back and retraced my footsteps, and I knew I had to talk to you, because like I felt like all my memory, like I was losing track of how to get back to my house. Like I didn't know how, when I was calling you. That's why, you know, you're like, hey man, what's up? And I was like, dude, I need a favor right now. What, dude, what? Like, I need you to get me home. I need you to get me home right now.
No, you said get me to the house.
Oh.
Get me to the house. So I don't know if like you're talking about fucking here in Oklahoma or fucking what you're talking about. You're just like, I need to get to the house.
And as I was talking to you, there was a lady who was watching me, and I was talking louder and louder. I was like, you need to trust me on this one, bro. I'm your brother. You need to listen to me. I need to move. And you kept on telling me, just go back to your car, dude. Just go back to your car, lay down, you'll be good. And I just had it in my head that if I did not walk up or run, I was going to die. And not like so much die as I was going to die. Like, I felt someone was coming for me, dude.
Yeah, you were out of sorts for sure. I had to fucking calm you down and fucking stop you for a minute, because I wasn't going to be able to tell me if I couldn't get the information out of you that I needed to get out of you. And luckily, I was at the house and I had my computer open, and I just pulled up, you know, the address of where you needed to go, and then made you stop and get an address of a building that you were standing near, and then we just Google mapped that shit. But you were dead set against not just going back into your car, fucking sleeping it off for an hour.
I was on a mission from the gods, dude, and I needed to get back to my bedroom and lay on the floor. That was the only thing, and there was no talking me into driving. I thought that was just not.
Well, I wasn't trying to talk you into driving. I was just trying to talk you into not leaving your car, because I didn't want it to get towed.
Yeah, luckily it was in a pretty big parking lot that kind of local in Cali, not so much like LA or downtown SD where you can't park anywhere without getting a ticket. It was a big lot, but that was another, you know, we'll get into it, having to walk back and calling you. But that was the only thing that once I got home was really keeping me panicked was my car.
Yeah, I just, I still think it would have been better just to stay put in the car and hang out for an hour, and you would have been all right. But
yeah,
you were hell bent on getting home, so I was just gonna make sure we got you home in one piece, and then I got you on a time schedule, and sure enough, we got you back to where you needed to be, and your car was still there. You know, and I think after like the first initial rush, to me, you had seemed pretty calmed down. You were still pretty freaked out, but I knew you had already turned the corner of the worst of it.
I was not, in my head, I was not getting home. In my head, I was going to jail. Like, that's the first thing, and I don't know why. I just knew if I had a conversation, if I had a conversation with anyone, I was done. And you wanted me, I remember you're like, is there a gas station around? You should go get a coffee, go get a water. And
Yeah.
I was like dying. Like, you heard me fucking coughing and and throwing up, or like trying not to throw up, but I had, like, I didn't know if I had been dosed or what. Like, my teeth were feeling weird. I felt like I was going to start ripping my teeth out of my head. Like, I'd never been that high in my life. Never in my life have I been that high. Like, I was high all day yesterday. Yesterday was miserable. I was just so low and so out.
It's like Tim Ferriss says, there's no biological free lunch, dude.
No, man. No way.
What goes up must come down. Vice versa. But, I mean, it happens to the best of us. I've done it a few times.
Never to that extent where you need to call someone, though.
No, but I was in situations where I think my first ever edible experience was way back in the it was in 2002, and I was not marijuana was not on the menu at that point in the career of Rich Airey, but I thought I had experience and was like, oh yeah, well, you know, eat one, okay, sure, I'm gonna fucking eat two. And it was the last day of school, so we went after school. I got them half day, and then we were going to like the last teacher's party or whatever, and it was at the Four Winds or whatever that like banquet hall kind of restaurant is over in Lacey. You know what I'm talking about, on the water there?
Yes, I do.
So it was like over there, and they have that pool there, and yeah, it just hit me like a ton of bricks once we stepped into the party, and I was in a world that I was not prepared for whatsoever, and you know, people are trying to talk to you and shit. You're just like, nah, this ain't happening.
Eyes down, head down, just, I am not here right now.
And then I thought, the pool, I was standing by the pool, and I just had this feeling like I was going to fall in the pool, and I just told the person that I was with, I'm like, you got to take me home, like, I just need to lay down. But it was also the next day I was leaving to go to Europe for, you know, however many days, and you know, Lorraine being the worrywart was like, you need to go to the doctor today, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, I'm not going to the fucking doctor. Like, I'm fine. I dosed myself heavy. And so I went home and I laid down for a while, but the room was like spinning heavy. And I had that Joey G as banana bread moment where I just got so sick and threw up and everything was green and... So that was, yeah, I didn't have another edible experience for a long time after that. And, yeah, I think I'm at a point where, I know what works and what is hit or miss and what can get you into trouble and deep waters. And I think I'm just sticking to what works as I head up to Colorado this summer. You know, that other stuff is just novelty. That's touristy stuff. That's where you get yourself in trouble, and the edibles just aren't worth it to me.
No, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm, you know, at a place where I kind of don't want to be right now. I mean, I can't train, and that kind of gets to me, and just fucking trying to hurt myself almost, you know, just, I want to go deep, dude, I want to go deep, and I fucking went too deep, dude. I had a trip, man, 100% had a trip.
Oh, you were straight tripping, for sure.
Yeah, 100, dude, there's some realizations I had, for real.
I mean, I was worried for about 5 minutes, until I got you to stop and breathe, and then I could get information out of you. I didn't know what was going to happen because I just heard cars all around, and you were like, she heard me yelling. I'm like, what? You're a crazy person right now, dude.
Dude, she was looking at me like the rain would be looking at someone trying to tell that to someone on the phone, and you kept on asking me what my address was, so I was screaming my address, and I just had this vision of like this lady calling the cops and the whole squad looking for me or being at the house. And I remember walking